Welcome to the English with Kirsty podcast from www.englishwithkirsty.com. Here I'll be sharing with you tips, information and other learning resources so that you can improve your business English. Hi everyone and welcome to English with Kirsty, and after a bit of a break I'm back with another episode, and today we're talking about something that came up on my Facebook page. If you don't know about it, it's English with Kirsty, the Facebook page for English with Kirsty. So if you go to Facebook and look for English with Kirsty, you will find it, and I talk on there about all kinds of things really, so if you want to have a look, go and do that. But the point is that this question came from the Facebook page. I asked something like, what do you find difficult about English pronunciation? And this was what came back, and it was the TH sound. Actually, there is not one TH sound, there are two TH sounds, but generally it's this group of letters that can cause problems for people, mainly because in their native language they don't have this sound. And if you have to create a sound that you don't have in your own language, it's more difficult than using words with sounds that you're already used to making. So a lot of languages don't have this TH sound, and therefore when people are learning English it can be more difficult for them. So basically there are two TH sounds, and I'm going to come on to that in a minute, but first of all I want to look at some of the problems that this causes when people don't get it right. So obviously people want to make the sound correctly so that their speech sounds good and fluent and like speakers of the language, but the problem is that sometimes when people make the sound incorrectly, they make other sounds that are actual words. So sometimes people make an F sound instead of the TH sound, so it becomes like Thursday instead of Thursday. And to be honest, some native speakers do that. A lot of people do that in certain parts of the country. It's more of a regional thing, but the correct way to pronounce it, if you're looking for standard English, is Thursday. So if someone says Thursday, you know they mean Thursday. It just doesn't sound the same. But if you say something like I fought is the past tense of fight, and that's to do with fighting with someone. I thought, on the other hand, is the past tense of to think. So there is a lot of difference between thinking about something and fighting with someone. So most of the time it will be obvious from the context what you mean, but if you're saying a word incorrectly and in doing so saying another word, then that can be confusing for people. So it's important to know that sometimes if you don't pronounce the word correctly, you're saying another word, and then you're relying on your listener to work out what the word should be. So some people say an F sound like fish instead of the TH sound, so thought becomes fought. Some people make it a T sound instead of a th, they say t. So instead of 3, we get tree. And we know what a tree is, it grows outside, but it's not the same as 3. And again, from the context, it'll probably be clear what you're saying, but it's not a T sound, it's a th sound. And the other thing that I've seen a lot of people doing, I work with quite a few German native speakers, and they don't all do it, but some do. They make it more of a s sound. So it's not a s sound, it's a th sound. So if you make the S sound, I don't know how well the microphone picked that up, but S like as in snake, something like that. That's wrong, because here your teeth need to be your mouth is still open, but your tongue is at the top of your mouth where your top teeth are, and to make the TH sound, your tongue needs to be touching your top teeth, because you're pushing air between the teeth and the tongue. And when you're making the S sound for sausages, your tongue is not touching the top teeth. Snake, Thursday. Your tongue for the TH sound is much farther forward, and that's why you can touch it to the top of your teeth and get this th or the sound. And again, so saying the S is incorrect because it doesn't sound right, but S is a letter in its own right. So if you think something, I think I'm free tomorrow. But if you say sink is a word, it's not the word you want. But thought is a word instead of thought. So if you don't pronounce it clearly, then you are actually saying other words. So coming on to what you should be doing, the TH sound has two ways of being pronounced. You may not have thought about this before, but there are two distinct ways of doing it, because one of them is a voiced sound. It means you have your vocal cords are vibrating, and if you touch your throat while you're making this sound, you'll be able to feel it moving. So if I say th, then my throat is going to vibrate. If I say th, then it's just the sound of the air coming through my teeth, like in, so the word the even. So the word the, you've got some sound coming through the word the, or weather, you were talking about the weather outside, the in weather, you can feel the throat vibrating. But if I say something like Thursday, obviously my throat will vibrate when I get to the Thursday sound, but the th, there's no movement of the throat, because that's not a voiced sound. It's just a sound like sh or s. These haven't got sound coming with them from the vocal cords, because it's the sound that the air is making as it comes out of your mouth. So words that begin with the softer sound, or the unvoiced sound, or the th sound, are like think, Thursday, through, things, three. Because it would sound wrong if we said think, Thursday, through, things, and three. These are not words, they sound odd, and that's because that's the wrong sound. That's the voice sound, when we need the kind of silent, or the sound where your throat doesn't move. So this is just the air coming between your top teeth and your tongue to make this th sound. So think, Thursday, through, things, three. And sometimes it comes in the middle of the word or the end of a word. So we say month, not month. That would be really hard to say, month. And we say unthinkable. That's unthinkable, not unthinkable. That's wrong. It's got to be unthinkable. And anything, not anything. It's anything. And so the other sound, where you can feel your throat vibrating when you make this sound, is the sound. So the easiest word to think of when you say that is the. So it's not th. It's not the podcast. It's the podcast. And other words like that are this, that, though, these, those. Because you don't say th, this, that, so, these, and those. It's not that. It's the, this, that, though, these, those. And actually, one of the things that I haven't mentioned above when I'm talking about mistakes is sometimes people make a D sound, like those instead of those. It's not those, it's those. Okay, so that's another mistake that I forgot to put in the initial list, but it's something that people actually do. And also, so this the sound can come in the middle of words or at the end of words too. So like other, the other day, not the other day, the other day. We've already talked about the weather. It's not the weather, it's the weather. And clothes, I'm wearing warm clothes today because it's cold. It's not clothes, it's clothes. And sometimes it changes when the word becomes plural, because we have month and months. That's easy, month, months. But something like mouth, you only have one mouth. But if you have lots of mouths to feed, it's not lots of mouths to feed, it's mouths to feed. So you really need to look and see, even when you know a word, what does it do in the plural if it's got th at the end? Month, months. Mouth, mouths. So just a lot of dictionaries have an option where you can click on the word and listen to it being spoken, and listen to it a few times. Try to pick up whether it is a th sound or a the sound, because they are both made with the two letters T and H. And I know this pair of letters can be a pain for people. and I've just added to it now by saying there are actually 2 sounds. But it's important to practice this, and you won't practice by just looking at words. You have to say them, whether you're saying them in conversation to somebody, whether you're practicing with a teacher or a language partner, or you can do it on your own, and you can even record yourself saying these things. You don't have to show it to anybody unless you want to, but you can compare it. You can listen to other speakers pronouncing these words and then listen to yours and see if it's the same. So I hope this is helpful. I've tried to pronounce the words and show you what the differences are. I've also pronounced them incorrectly but been clear about when that is to show you the difference, and I hope that worked. I'd also like to know if there are other sounds in English that you find difficult. I mean, should we just leave it with this, or should we start a series? Because the podcast is a good place to do this, because I can actually record the sounds and talk about how you make them and what mistakes people make. So I think the podcast is quite a good place to do this. If you have any more combinations of letters that you find difficult to pronounce in English, then let me know. You can use the form on the show notes page, or you can send me an email, because we do have an email address for the podcast now. So if you want to send an email, you can email podcast@englishwithkirsty.com. So podcast@englishwithkirsty.com. And please remember to spell my name right, Kirsty. Otherwise, I won't get your email. And alternatively, you can send me, you can go to the show notes page, and then on the show notes page, there is a place where you can sign up for the newsletter. But you can also request other subjects for the next podcast in the future. So I'm just looking at what number it is now. This is 135. So if you go to englishwithkirsty.com/podcast/135, then you will find today's show notes page, and you'll have the option to email me from there, or to send me a message via my site from there as well. So I hope that's useful. I know the TH sound is a pain for many learners of English, but I hope that's giving you some ideas and some words to practice, and that will help you when you practice this sound and improve your pronunciation. Have a good week and have fun learning English. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the English with Kirsty podcast. If you have any questions or comments, my email address is kirsty@englishwithkirsty.com, or you can go to www.englishwithkirsty.com/podcast, where you'll find information about the individual episodes.